The Rock Metal Podcast, episode 254, with High Visions. You done?
Yep.
When you asked me to swing by your place, I knew I'd made a grave mistake, 'cause I knew I'm not worthy of your time.
Okay.
You can edit.
Yeah.
Okay.
My assistant engineer went ahead and hit record.
Sounds good.
Boom. Rock Metal Nation, what is up? This is John from the Rock Metal Podcast. That sample you just heard was a grave mistake by High Visions, who I've got on the show with me right now. We've got a new EP called Passerby, which released earlier this year. Right now I'm being joined by Ziggy to share some stories about the music and share more info about the band. So Ziggy, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I just woke up.
I'm envious. It's like 3 PM here.
It's 8:30 here. So
Wow.
What?
yes,
Not
I
at the
wonder
time.
why I do this to myself on Sundays, but I stopped doing the 6 a.m. interviews. And so that's my right now I'm like,
So you had 6 AM interviews.
oh
I'm
yeah.
Not envious.
Oh yeah.
I noticed like your time slots like went all the way up to like 11:30 in the evening for me. So
Yeah,
it's quite interesting.
Yeah, 8 to 5 basically here where I'm at. And then
Yeah, of course.
yeah, because when I first started the show, just to make myself flexible, I was like doing shows at 10 o'clock at night, midnight, 6 o'clock in the morning, and then it reached a point where I was like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore.
I completely understand that. Like, why would you want to do that to your body clock, you know?
Exactly. Boom. All right, well, great to have you on the show. Let's go listen back to that track, Grave Mistake.
Grave mistake.
When you asked me to swing by your place, I knew I'd made a grave mistake, 'cause I knew I'm not worthy of your time. I've been feeling jaded and I felt this for so long, waking up and turning over just to find you gone. My mind is such a bombshell, it's just like your bedroom floor, and sleeping on the sofa doesn't make sense anymore. But I've not found it easy, which is why I took your call, when you just want me to fall. When you asked me to swing by your place, I knew I'd made a great mistake, 'cause I know I'm not worthy of your time. And I miss you and it makes me sick. You knew how much I needed this, 'cause I still think about you every night, but I can't swallow my pride. The roses on your windowsill had wilted months ago. The fairy lights above your bed are piercing through my skull. Your voice is in my head and I just hear it every night. And every shot I take, and now every bridge I break, doesn't make me more alive. When you asked me to swing by your place, I knew I'd made a great mistake, 'cause I know I'm not worthy of your time. And I miss you and it makes me sick. You knew how much I needed this, 'cause I still think about you every night, but I can't swallow my pride. I hate the way you test me, and how I fall down every time. You prove that I'm still blind. But when we saw Safeguard playing York when we weren't wearing thin, I just kissed you by the rail side as the day's last train pulled in. And now every fleeting moment that I got to spend with you all just feels so overshadowed by everything that you do. It's everything that you do. It's everything that you do. It's everything that you do. I love to hate being with you. It's everything that you do. It's everything that you do. It's everything that you do. I love to hate being with you. It's everything that
All right, come back from Grave Mistake. It certainly wasn't a grave mistake to have you on the show.
Ooh, I'm loving the pun. Thank you.
That's a pretty mistake.
Could be terrible. I know I shot one over email earlier about being shit out of luck, that the shit out of luck song
Oh, that
didn't
was
work.
brilliant.
Like,
I love that.
Shout, walk, down, walk.
All right, cool. Now, Great Mistake it has a music video. I have the impression, because out of the entire EP of Passerby, because Great Mistake has a music video, this is basically the lead single off of the EP.
Right.
Yes. We released it in like mid-May or so, basically a few months ahead of the EP, just kind of like gain traction and stuff. And yeah, we filmed the video just after we recorded the EP at the ranch in Southampton. And then we basically just spent a day like running around Leeds, just filming stuff. We had our buddies in a band called Lion Estates. He also came and did a little cameo as well. It was just, overall, it was just a really nice experience filming.
Mm-hmm. Now, we'll go and touch base on that music video in a second, but I wanted to go ahead and chat about the song Grave Mistake. Obviously, the whole EP is pretty bang, and I think you guys are hitting a note in punk rock that really isn't being hit right now.
Thank you. That's what we try to do. Like, we are technically in the pop punk scene, but the music that we make, we always pride ourselves on being like a little bit different, like not entirely fitting in with the other bands, like being a bit more individualistic. Like, each one of us has our own kind of influences. Like, I'm influenced by a lot of like 90s grunge and emo. Our guitarist is really into like metalcore and like hardcore, like his favorite band's Architect. And then our drummer is just really into like kind of the early 2000s era pop punk, like Blink, Sum 41, Ataris, that sort of thing.
Wow. Yeah, I made a note, and it's going to be just because I'm Canadian, and I hope you take it as a compliment. But,
Okay.
My note that I made is that it reminds me a lot, especially in the guitar work and the guitar tone, reminds me a lot of Billy Talent.
I like Billy Talent, actually. They're a cool band.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll take that as a compliment, definitely.
All right, fantastic. Now, next logical question is, what's the story or inspiration behind Grave Mistake?
Well, I'd say Grave Mistake was kind of about a toxic relationship that I was in, like, in my final year when I was studying in Leeds. And, like, I was in the middle of writing a dissertation, in the middle of, like, doing my final composition for my degree. And at the same time, like, I also kind of developed a really unhealthy mindset with the relationship with this girl that I was with. And I think Grave Mistake kind of just highlights this idea of, like, I know that we should, like, end things because this isn't good for either of us. But at the same time, we've kind of become dependent on each other as well. It was that kind of mindset that we had that thankfully we were both able to snap out of after a while. But it was those feelings that kind of inserted themselves into the song. And funnily enough, there's a lyric in the bridge about seeing a band called Safeguard. One of our first dates, actually, I took her up to York. It's a beautiful city it's a beautiful city about half an hour out of Leeds. And there was a band there called Safeguard who were putting on a show. I knew them. They're absolutely lovely guys. And we basically went up to watch them play a show, hang around York. And this was around Valentine's Day, 2017.
Aww.
And so there was this, I was kind of reminiscing on the good times that we had, but also that kind of created a mentality of, I want to stay with you, but I know it's a bad idea. That's kind of what Grave Mistake's about overall. Sorry, I know that's a bit rambly, but...
My heart is pounding, though. That whole story about Valentine's Day going up to York is just, it's fabulous.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a postcard, but you lived it.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it was really cool because that was also one of the first times that I really started getting involved in the pop punk scene as well. So it was like, I was with someone that I really cared about, and I also had the scene that I really cared about, and it almost was postcard-esque when you look back at it, you know?
Cool. All right, now for the Rock Nation who dug the track Grave Mistake will be excited. So there's a music video, which we were chatting about a little bit here earlier. So if you go to today's show notes at www.therockmetalpodcast.ca, you can check it out. Now, Ziggs, #Ziggs, if you wouldn't mind, what's the production behind the music video for Grave Mistake?
So we filmed with a guy called Lewis Dodds. He's a filmmaker based out of Newcastle. We met him through like a bunch of tours that he's done with some pretty established bands. I think the one that we properly met him on, I think, was Coast to Coast, if I remember correctly. I'm not entirely sure if it was them or someone else, but we just kind of shot him a line after we recorded the EP, and we were just like, hey, would you mind coming to Leeds and filming a music video with us? So we met up at Leeds Uni. We just kind of like hung out for a bit, exchanged some ideas. He came up with a storyboard, and then on the day he came back down to Leeds. It was very last minute. Like, one of my mates stepped in. He's the lead actor in the video. And we kind of filmed like loads of his segments and then loads of our performance segments. And then around like very last minute, we just called up some of the bands that we play with and the friends with us to see if they wanted to cameo. And Lion Estates hit us up and they were like, yeah, I'd love to come over. So we ended up meeting Rich and John, who are the guitarist and the bassist of Lion Estates. They basically came down to my friend's house and we spent an hour just acting out the scene from Taken, basically, but with a washing machine. It was great. Really good fun.
That is fantastic. All right. Well, let's go listen to the next track, Shit Out of Luck. It's John from the Rock Metal Podcast for a real quick break to let you know that Jay over at Metal Mayhem Radio is looking to help you get your band in rotation on his station. So go ahead and hit up Jay at studio@metalmayhemradio.co.uk. That is studio@metalmayhemradio.co.uk. Just go ahead and say that the Rock Metal Podcast sent you. He'll get you into rotation on Metal Mayhem Radio. All right, coming back from Shit Out of Luck, which is another banging track with a lot of great energy. Starts off with that guitar pan all the way to the left, and then kicks everything in. Well, that's a good question. Is it actually on the right in the UK? No, they just drive on the left. Anyway, just kidding.
We drive the left.
Yeah. All right. Now, obviously, after you make a grave mistake, you could be shit out of luck. So the next logical question is, what's the story inspiration behind Shit Out of Luck?
Well, Shit Out of Luck was the first song that we officially penned out for Passerby. We actually wrote it around just a little bit after releasing our first EP, Waving the White Flag. And the story behind this song is pretty much, we wrote it around the time that I was about to leave Leeds Uni. And I was worried about my prospects after graduating. I didn't really have any kind of plan of what I was going to do. And I'd spent my entire life at this point in education. I went straight from high school into university. And then I was about to leave and I didn't really know what to do, where I was going to go, what was going to happen. And Shit Out of Luck kind of was a culmination of all of these thoughts that I was having at the time.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, I think everybody can identify with that who's ever I'll be poetic about wasting your money at university. I mean, going to university to conquering your dreams. So,
Yeah, exactly.
boom. All right. Yeah, I think that answers that question. So, cool. All right. So for Rock Metal Nation, who dug the 2 tracks of Grave Mistake and Shadow Luck, will be excited to know that there is a full EP called Passerby, which was released earlier this year. So, Ziggs, if you wouldn't mind, when we pick up the EP, what should we expect?
Good question. I'd say in terms of style, Passerby, it's got elements of like modern pop punk and emo, but with more of like a kind of a 90s and skate punk influence like twist on it. And there's certain elements that kind of use things that a lot of pop punk bands don't really like mention, you know. Sorry, my friend's just arrived. But I think if you're into something that's a little bit kind of more hard hitting when it comes to pop punk, something that's got a little bit more frantic energy to it, I'd suggest Passerby as an EP for that.
Cool. All right, well, the next logical question on Rock Metal Nation's mind is, how can we find out more about you guys or stay in touch? Is there a place we should go to on the web?
So we have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/highvisionsuk. We also have a Twitter and an Instagram as well. So if you could give those a follow, that would be amazing. Or you could just stay in touch and just email us. Our email address is highvisionsuk@gmail.com if you're interested in kind of having us for a chat or putting us on for a show or just anything really. We'll play your house, we'll play your basement, we'll play your kitchen, we'll play your daughter's birthday. Like, it's brilliant, you know.
All right, well, hashtag Ziggs. Unless there's anything else you wanted to throw out there, I just wanted to thank you for taking time out of your day to come onto the Rock Metal Podcast and sharing high visions with Rock Metal Nation.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Hopefully just found your new favorite band in High Visions. Big thanks again to them for coming on and sharing their music with us. Make sure to head over to www.therockmetalpodcast.ca to get all the information on the show you just heard today. And until then, rock on, Rock Metal Nation!